Hi everyone, and I hope everyone can hear me. So let's go and turn this down for a minute. So just decided to go live with a few tips on chord changing, and a few other things about chords, and just to give you a hand with them. I know from the recent poll there that chord changing seems to be causing quite a lot of problems at the minute. Now I know there was a live back in February, but I'm gonna do a bit of theory in this one to explain why I think you should learn certain chords in a certain order and give you some tips on how to sort out your chords as well. So I just want to share the screen for a minute. Let's see if we can, just 2 seconds. I just wanted to share this PDF with you. Now this is the chord sheet that went out. By the way, thanks everybody that requested this. It did go out in an email, but I've sort of stripped it back a bit. But I wanted to kind of discuss a bit of it rather than you just browsing through it and some of them maybe causing a bit of confusion. So there's 5 points I'm going to cover tonight. Now, one thing I want to explain about this bit, working on your chords first. What I meant was work on the important chords first, but I left the word out there. So I'm going to go through with some song suggestions, right? And then we'll go into some tips on the chords themselves and actually making the transitions between the chords, which is always tough. The importance of arm movement, that is something that's overlooked, I think, on guitar, and it doesn't seem to be mentioned very much, but I noticed it when I was playing. And then there's point 4 there is about just relaxing, and then be lazy doesn't mean be lazy and do nothing. It means it's still along the lines of relax, but you're kind of keeping your fingers movement to a minimum. And then there's stuff there about going slowly, but we're going to basically cover those 5. So to go back over this first bit, what I'm talking about here at the start, about learning the important chords first, there's 3 groups of chords: majors, minors, and sevenths. Right. If when you're working on chords, it's important to get the majors down first, I think, and maybe some minors. But if what we're going to look at here is some chord movements and why you should learn chord progressions. So without getting into too much theory, what we're going to talk about is a 1-4-5 progression, which is really, really common in music. So the common keys, and the keys that I'm focusing on in the program that I have, are the keys of G. So for example, G, E minor, C, and D. Right, key of C, C, F, A minor, G. Now already with those 2 keys, that's thousands of songs. There's also D, A, B minor, and G. But we're not going to cover B minor in this. I'm not going to cover F half bar either. That would be for a future life down the line, because they would be classed as slightly more intermediate chords. But even with the ones on there on the screen there, so you got G, C, D, E, A, E minor, A minor, and that D minor that sometimes causes some problems. Right, now we'll talk about chord progressions. The reason for learning chord progressions is because songs are just bunches of chord progressions in different orders with the rhythm put to it. That's basically what it is. So if you learn the progressions, then you're learning the way the song's put together. So if we take, for example, the Trogs Are Wild thing. So what's a 1-4-5? What it basically means is if we take the major scale, so your kind of standard do, re, mi, right? So it has 7 notes in it. The 8th note is the octave. So we've got A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. So if we take the notes in order, the A note is the first, there's B is the second, third. The 4th note is a D, and the 5th note is an E. So 1-4-5 progression basically means you take those and turn those into chords, which would be A major, D major, and normally E7, but we're going to play E major instead. So although Wild Thing has A, D, E, and goes back to D again, right, it's still basically a 1-4-5 progression. So you're basically playing a 1-4-5 in the key of A. But the problem with that is the minor chords that are related to that key are similar to the B minor, C sharp minor, and G sharp minor. So it's not the best key to start in. G is probably a better key. Now, I'm not sure if you know that Green Day song, Time of Your Life. Really good tune for loads of stuff going on with picking and strumming. And it goes on into other things, right? But it's based around a 1-4-5 progression. Now, just to explain what a C odd 9 is, if you haven't come across that, there's a great substitute chord for a C, and it's a C odd 9. And it's a great one to learn as well because it's very close to a G. So again, running through the 1-4-5, first note G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. G, second note A, third note B, C's the fourth note, and D's the fifth note. Turning that into chords, G, C odd 9, or C if you want to practice your C chord, and D. So if we put a bit of rhythm into that, what I'm playing there is down, down, up, up, down, up. Now, if you're wanting a chord change to work on, that is a good one because not only is it a really calm progression, but it keeps you working on fingers being anchored. This note here is D, and it's in all three chords. Now, that's quite tricky to start to keep that down, and if you have to practice holding it down, you know, that's the way I would do it. But there's a lot wrapped up in a song like that with picking, and it's quite fast, which is another thing, but we wouldn't worry about the speed. So as I say, working on these chord orders. Now I'm only using this as a one particular chord progression. There are loads of them. There's one called a 1 would be a 1-6-2-5, which would be G, or 1-6-4-5, 1, E minor, C and D. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But there's another example below, the Beatles' Rain. Same sort of chords, first chord, fourth chord, fifth chord, and then goes to the fourth. So the rhythm and that's a wee bit different kind of timing, but same kind of idea. So you get the idea. There's so many songs that are based around that progression. Now, as I say, the list goes on, but if we were going to add in the E minor chord, which was on the original email, right, and we went from G to E minor to C to D, right, then you're bringing in that minor sound to it. So songs like Perfect, Ed Sheeran, that's a good beginner's one to start with. So it's in 12/8, so we're doing each chord for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sort of bunches of 6 if you look at it like that. Of course, Stand By Me, Benny King. Same chords. E minor. Back to your rhythm of the Green Day one. C and then D. Exact same progression. Chords in the same order, but a different rhythm. And then the Place Every Breath You Take. So it's, we'll put a bit of palm mute in. C and then D. Except it goes to E minor. Right, so you can see the idea of learning the progressions and getting those chord changes down. So I hope that kind of makes sense. I know I kind of went through it quickly, but there's a lot to cover. If you need to ask any questions about that afterwards, definitely put a comment in below. And by the way, if you'd like to have a quick chat about your playing and how I could help you move forward with it, comment chat after the live, just in the comments below. Or if you're not seeing it right now live, you know, tomorrow possibly, and we can have a quick call, 15-minute call, and I can just we'll have a chat in Messenger and see what happens. And if you like, then we can maybe have a 15-minute call and take it from there. So, right, so that's just discussing there what I was talking about a minute ago. Now, the other things are, I noticed in the comments and stuff that are coming up in the group, sort of muffled notes and chords not sounding clean is one of the big things that comes up. And I know that's probably maybe why a lot of people are watching the live or wanting to watch it. So very important to cover that. So before we get into that, what I meant here by visualizing the shape of the chord before you lay it down, I used to find when I played guitar, if I played scales and learn scales. If I could play the scale in my mind, not sitting with the guitar, and I could think, right, so 3rd fret, 5th fret, 2nd, 3rd, 5th. So then I really, really know it. So it's the same thing with the chord. You should be able to visualize the chord away from the guitar. And you know, some people even do practice making shapes in mid-air, but it's not the same, obviously, as pressing down on the strings. But it's about just seeing the chord in your mind's eye and going, right, see, is there. And that's a big, big plus when you're trying to make the chord. So you're taking that connection slightly away from having to look down and watch every single thing you're doing. And then that ties in with, I probably discussed this in the last live about feeling. You know, feeling where to go. So let me just take screen share off here for a minute. Sorry, but how would I leave that on? Yeah. So visualizing where to go and feeling where to go with the chords. All right, so now what will probably happen is the C chord gives some trouble sometimes. It'll not fall into place like that right away, but it will through time. I always believe in sort of building the chords up. Some people would say to practice them straight on, which is fair enough, I understand that, but that's hard to do, to train your fingers to do that. And so you kind of when you kind of get one finger down, it can guide the other ones. So C would cause problems, so would F. Mainly, a good chord progression to practice is from C to F, because they're so close together, and I've got this anchor note here. All right, again, these anchor notes, anchor points are really important. Then you've got, if you are covering those keys, the G and the E minor, the C, and then out to the D, there's not a lot we can do about that. They're so different, those two chords, but if you keep an eye on my thumb and my arm. Now, there was an email that went out with a few pictures on it. I was kind of taking, just right in this spot, showing the gap here. So there's G, E minor, C, D. See the way it's going out for the G chord? Think about your elbow, move it out. Don't move it out too far where you get a bit of strain. Just move it out a bit. It should still be comfortable, but it'll help with the position of the fingers curling over. Now, other chords that I mentioned earlier, G, C, D, A, E. So A and E and D are great for sort of 3-chord songs. D minor might pop up. It's one of your 3 minors, E minor, A minor, but it always causes problems. So when you're changing chords and working on transitions, good idea to keep the chords that you're changing from to close to the ones you're doing, if you're not getting clean notes. So sort of straight on there, you can see, it's hard to tell on the camera, but you can see the curling of the fingers. Don't want anything like that, and you want plenty of space here for the strings you're not holding, just as important as the ones you are holding. All right, so we really need them. So I'm doing a lot of G and C there. What else about chords? Yeah, if you're doing E minor, make sure you use both. I call that E minor too, just for a different version. Make sure you switch between them. So, chord transitions that come up in terms of minors, E minor and A minor, that's a good one to move through. And keep your rhythm uncomplicated. Don't try a really crazy rhythm. Keep it maybe down, 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 up, down or something. Nice and steady. Slow way down if you have to. And then you can kind of work on G to E minor. And with C and D, A minor to D might be slightly easier than a C to D. You know, so you're always trying to think of the chord that's pretty much close to the one that's giving you trouble. And then, of course, if you're getting a lot of muffled notes, just a bit of simple picking. You know, G sometimes, first 4-finger G causes problems. Just sort of picking through your chords, keeping it sort of. So you get a note. If you get a sort of there's something wrong with either the pressure or the shape of your elbow. Something's not right there that's causing that. I have light strings on this, Good tip is if you want to make things a bit easier, just put lighter strings on. Going extra lights, going from a 10 here. All right, so it would be a 10. I'm not sure what that would be, but some companies call them light, some call them extra light. But you can't go wrong with the extra lights down here. So makes a big difference. And if you need to get your height adjusted, you don't want this sitting way out. Makes life really difficult. You want to keep it fairly low. So I'm just going to share the screen again, have a quick look at this PDF. Let me see. Yes, well, I was talking there about the arm movement, very important. Just a quick run over that. Take this off, sure, again. Just wanted to jog in my memory there what I was talking about. So, arm movement, out chords and in chords, right? G chord would be pretty much a bit of a gap. Anywhere you can see a bit of light under here. E minor. Close it up. Because of the shape is making me kind of curl. And then G again. Then we come to C. Definitely bring your arm in C. Don't try and leave a gap here. Don't try that and sit in one spot. It's the worst thing to do because I can feel the strain all the way down here. And then your D. D. So they're all kind of in chords. Notice that finger's not really moving much. You don't want this drifting about either. You want comfort, and there's a lot that needs to be touching the neck at the back to give you that pressure. Now the grips will change when you get on the bar chords and stuff later, but we're not talking about those. I'm purely only talking about open chords. So think about your arm. If you want to ask me which chords would be involved a lot in the arm movement, pop a message in below, no problem. And we're gonna I can give you a few tips on that and what I would recommend. After years of playing, you kind of get used to. You don't actually realize you're doing things sometimes, and then you kind of analyze it and go, oh yeah, So that's what's kind of made it easier for me. These things just cropped up and connecting chords and all that stuff. So feel free to, I'm going to change the setting here, to ask me any questions if you need to. So sorry, I'm just going to share the screen again here because I want to see what else is left. Yeah, well, the relax, where I say about relax, make sure you relax your fingers. Yeah, you don't want to be stiffened up. You want to be kind of pretty comfortable. I mean, some people lie on the couch and play guitar, and I probably would be guilty of that too, but you're meant to sort of be sitting quite up straight and not be hunched over, but definitely not be tense. Yeah, so it says avoid or release any tension in the arms, wrists, hands, and fingers. So while you need to press down, and we do need that pressure, you don't want to be over gripping or pressing really hard. You should be relaxed when you're doing it and try not get stressed if you're getting frustrated, which is a tough one. That's definitely tough. I've been there, and what that's like, whether it's lead guitar or you just get some days it's just not happening, and those are the days when you need to set the guitar down, walk away, and come back when you're feeling a bit more fresh. If it is the next day then. So the other point there, be lazy. Try to keep your finger moving to a minimum. Very important this. So it's not, as I said earlier, it's not lazy as in just lab out and hope it all works out. It's working on it, and think about finger height between the chords. Alright, so we're thinking about the height of the fingers and in between the chords. Sorry about if you can hear any noise up above. I'm not sure what's going on. Must be a bit of work going on or something. But G. So when I'm moving my fingers, just to show you this because this is important. Right, we've got really low finger movement there. All right, if you see that from the front, see when my fingers are sort of almost scraping over the strings. So we're not going. Worst thing to do is all that wasted energy and height here when you want to keep them low. So I'm just using those as examples, but say we did something different, A minor to D minor. Now I know my fingers are moving in groups. So 1, 2, that will come. Just take everything really slowly and think about the things that I've been saying, and hopefully the emails that have been going out will be help. helpful too. Now there is other stuff on that, but tonight I just want to talk about these 5 points. There's some few other things where I go slowly, and there's other ones there, but so as I said, if you have any questions at all afterwards, or you're having issues with your chords, pop a question in either in the group, or you can message me as well, and I'll try and help out. And if you're getting stuck on something and you don't know what songs to work on, or feel free to ask, and I'll try and help as best I can. If you really want to take your playing further, as I said, just pop chat in under the video and we can have a chat, and I just try and help you as best I can. Once I kind of find out, it's kind of hard in the group because you don't know everybody's individual issues, so once I kind of have a chat, we can really sort of get down to the bottom of it and see if I can do my best to help. Okay, so I'll just take this off the screen again, so we'll see. So thanks very much for watching, and thanks very much for downloading the PDF. If you've been on my YouTube channel, there's loads of stuff on there. If you haven't, let me know. I'll send you the link. I'm posting videos, doing a lot of shorts at the minute every week, and that's great for song ideas, easy riffs, and all kinds of things. So I hope that's been helpful. If you think it has, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you again soon. I'm sure I'll be talking to you in the group anyway. Alright, bye for now. Okay, bye.